my channel. I'm hoping to keep this video a little short today. I'm recording a day late because I was stricken with a migraine yesterday and I just could not bring myself to really do anything, and I have some appliances being delivered. There's a lot going on today, but I'm very excited to share some updates because I am almost done. We are there. We are at the home stretch. So my wings are done, except for a little cleanup with the back brace, I guess is what you call it, the part that slides into the corset. One wire is just not sturdy enough to keep it from falling like that. So I think I mentioned before that I was okay with tying a ribbon at the top. I'm kind of not now, so we'll see how I'm going to fix it. And then I took some Warbler and wrapped it around the bottom for some extra stability. I haven't tested it to see if that's comfortable yet. I have a feeling it's not going to be comfortable because it's really bulky. So I have those hanging on my wall now out of the way. I'll fine-tune them once I'm finished with all of the other things that I need to do. I think what I'm going to do is double up on the back brace wire and then remove the Warbler. I really don't think that's going to work. And I have an additional update that gives me a little bit of a problem with the wings. So I was accepted into the Sunshine Qualifier for MegaCon Orlando. So I'll be competing in about a month. And I am not staying at a hotel connected to the convention center, which means I had to pay for separate parking, which means I have to ride a shuttle from the parking lot to the convention center, and I can't do that in this cosplay. I refuse to sit for long periods of time in it because I just don't want to crinkle up the spirals of the skirt. I don't want to add wrinkles to the overskirt or the cape or anything like that. But the wings are the real problem. And I can't hold them because they're kind of huge. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take my costume in a bag, like a shopping bag, and take the wings apart so that they're in two halves and carry those two, because then I could handle that without them getting destroyed, and then tape them together at the convention center. So I'll have to get dressed at the convention center and then put the wings together. So not exactly sure if that's my solution or not, but that's what I'm looking like. I did look at hotels just to stay like Friday night and Saturday night. That way I can just walk from the hotel to the convention center, and it's like $800 for 2 nights. No thank you. That's kind of crazy. Just for the convenience of the walk. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna pay $800 for a 2-night stay. So that's not happening. So yeah, so I'll be competing in a month, so I need to get this finished. And I had renewed energy this week to like really hit it hard and finish it quickly, and I wound up staying up too late, not getting enough sleep, which led to a migraine, which pretty much took me out for most of the day yesterday. And then today I'm still a little fragile, so what I mean by fragile is like it could come back with the wrong trigger. So light or sound or stress or getting tired could trigger my migraine back. So far light isn't, because I'm able to do this. Sound isn't so much, but I do still kind of feel it very lightly threatening me. So we'll see what I can get done today. Hopefully a lot, because I'm excited to get this finished and I'm excited to move on to the wig. So anyway, all that to say, the wings are like done, mostly done. Fine tuning is all that they need. And then I have the overskirt mostly finished. We went a little weird on the overskirt. So I cut out 2 full circle skirt panels and gathered them at the top. And that's the overskirt. I wanted to be very flowy, have a lot of fabric. I did it out crystal organza. It's supposed to be a transparent fabric. Well, I absolutely hate working with transparent fabric because finishing the edges, to me, like there's just not a clean way to do it without covering up the edges. But I tried. I searched the edges because crystal organza frays like crazy. So I searched the edges, and then I did a rolled hem, and I hated the rolled hem. You could see the serge through it. And like, I just hate rolled hems anyway on transparent fabric because you have to be super perfect or you can see the flaws through it. And even when it is perfect, I don't know, something about it I don't like. It just doesn't look right to me. So I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some gold trim on it, which makes a lot of sense because so you have this overskirt, and then on top of the overskirt in the back there's going to be this cape. So all this white fabric is going to blend together in the back. But if I trim the overskirt in gold, it's going to give a little definition to what's the skirt and separate a bit from the cape. So like that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to do that. It's not technically in the artwork, which could be a problem when it comes to accuracy, but I thought it needed that little bit of oomph. And then I'm actually going to take some of this trim up into the collar as well so that it's in more than one place. So I attached that to it. Because I'd already did a rolled hem, I thought that maybe if I did an additional roll on the hem with the trim, it would hide the serge and I wouldn't need to do anything else. It would hide, like, you know, the rolls and the serge and everything. You wouldn't be able to see anything because it would be so thick. So what I did was, if this is the edge of your fabric, normally your trim would be stitched this way, coming out. But what I did is I stitched it like this. And then I went all the way around, stitched it like this, and then I flipped it out and did another stitch. And then essentially added another layer of fabric over the rolled hem that was already there. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't cover up the rest of it didn't cover up the like rolled hem. So I wound up taking 1/4 inch bias tape, and because I had already done all this work on it, you can't seam rip crystal organza. Once you've stitched it, when you try to seam rip it, it kind of just falls apart. Your stitching adds holes to it. It's a mess. So I can't undo all of that and redo it. So instead I took the bias tape and I put it on the back and covered up the rolled hem and just stitched it on both sides of the bias tape all the way around it. I used almost 12 yards, I believe, of that gold trim, and so it would be about the 12 yards of the bias tape that I had to stitch on twice. And because this is going to be visible and there's a really good chance the judges are going to flip the skirt over and look at how it's finished, I had to stitch very straight, and that means for me stitching very slowly. So it took me 4 hours to stitch this bias tape on. So that's exciting. However, the bias tape had a surprise effect that I just didn't expect, and I actually really like it because of how I stitched the bias tape on. It's a double fold bias tape, so it's a little thick. It almost acts like a horsehair braid would, a very mild horsehair braid. It added this wave to the bottom of the skirt, and the wave is defined because of the gold, and you can see the bias tape through the folds of the fabric, which redefines how it's flowing, and it just looks neat. So I'm very excited that that turned out well, because I was totally winging it on this overskirt. So now I just have to, I'm going to hand gather the top and hand stitch it to the waistband of the skirt, then add snaps into the waistband, and that's it. The skirt is absolutely done with some minor fine-tuning. Okay, I gotta stop calling things done, because then I remember that there's something else I wanted to do. So they're not really done. Either way, it's mostly done. I also have the cape cut out, and there's these little short pieces cut out. So what I did for the cape and the short pieces of the cape, so the cape is just a big old rectangle. Like, I just cut several yards of fabric off the bolt and opened it up, and then I took the two corners and just that's getting pinned to the shoulder, like that's it. In the artwork, it does have it cut down the middle, so you would have two separate capes with two little capes on top of it. And as I was looking at it on the mannequin, I wound up really liking the drape that happened when this yard piece is one. So when you grab it by the corners and hang it up, because you're taking it from, I don't know, 55 inches down to this, you get this drape, and it just looks so pretty. And now the wings are going to go through this, so you'll have the drape and the wings will go over it, so it's draping under the wings, and then you have the little cape, the little capelets that go on top that will drape over the wings. I do need to see if I need to adjust that drape at all. So I need to put the wings back on the mannequin and see how it looks, but so far I think I'm just going to leave it as one because it looks really pretty. And then I cut the hem into more of a circle end so that it's not like a harsh rectangle. And then I'm going to take more of that 1/4 inch bias tape and just trim it. So I'm going to serge everything because this stuff, it's chiffon, or is it viola? How do you pronounce that name? It's viola. And it frays like crazy as well. So I'm going to serge the ends. And instead of wasting my time trying to do a rolled hem, which I know I'm going to hate, I'm just going to take the 1/4 inch bias tape and wrap it around the edges and stitch that once because I'm doing it correctly this time. And I'm going to do that for both the little capelets and then the long cape. And I think it's going to add additional definition to the waves and the folds in the cape. So I think it's going to look really nice. The little capey things on top are also just long rectangles that I'm taking one corner and doing that and attaching it to the collar with just one corner. So you get this uneven drape, but it looks really nice. And then the brooch, I'm still working on the brooch. I had to gold leaf little leaves so that they matched the rest, so that took time. And then I decided to go ahead and add gold leaf to the feathers. I really love this broken, worn off gold leaf effect, and I've been putting it on everything. And I did this same sort of like worn crackle effect type, I don't know what to call it, on the brooch leaves. I was able to do one side and then I ran out of gold leaf, which means I have actually used 100 sheets of gold leaf so far on this cosplay, which is kind of wild. I've just really been liking it. It's so shiny. I like the effect. It looks so nice. So I had to order more. So the brooch, the thing I've been working on since I think the beginning, and I keep saying is almost done, is still not done. So it's hanging out over there until I get the gold leaf. I finished the boots, which I believe I posted a short of the progress already, but essentially I gold leafed the toe and the heel because of course, but I got this really cool effect by taking my brush and like flicking it up, so I got little points of gold leaf, and then I took my nail and like scraped them to make them look a bit more worn. It's kind of just a really cool effect. I wanted it to almost look like she stepped in gold. And then the filigree is made out of foam clay that I pushed into some silicone molds. I painted it black and then I used a paper towel to like brush on some gold paint. I have to talk about this gold paint. If you watch my content for a bit, like my shorts, you probably have seen this pop up numerous times. It's Deco Art Americana Decor Metallics. This is 8 ounces. I bought this off Amazon years ago and it is my absolute favorite gold paint. There we go. It's in the color 24K gold and it looks like this. It's very thick. It's like I don't know, it's like a gummy texture. It's very, very thick, but it's very glittery and shiny, and it bends nicely. So I use this on Merida, I use this on Pura, I've used this on Sailor Moon, I think. I've used this on here now, on Cosmos, and this stuff I'm only about halfway through the container and I use it quite often, but a little bit goes a long way because it's so thick. You can water it down a little bit and brush it on and it winds up with a wash of like gold glitter almost. I really don't like to call it glitter. It is glittery, but it's like a micro glitter. It's not like big chunky glitter. And that's not the only pigment. The pigment is still gold. So that's what I used on the boot filigrees. I took a paper towel and I just lightly brushed that on there. I have to see if they still sell this because this was one of the best purchases I have had, and I am planning on making Jasmine's pink dress. I hand paint the gold on her train and I think I'm going to use that, and I'm going to probably finally run out and need some more. It works on fabrics, it works on everything, and the fact that it bends is really nice, which means that I haven't had any issues with it cracking or peeling. And I had little warbler leaves just like these, but a little bigger, that I also gold leafed and airbrushed, glued those on. I added some feathers. The top ring is made out of warbler leaf shaped things that are just sort of freehand cut and attached to a warbler ring that then wraps around the top of the boot, and there's the Warbler support on the inside of the boot between the lining and the outside that gives it that structure to keep it up. I didn't like the way the Warbler ring looked underneath, so I wound up wrapping some gold trim underneath it, then didn't like that at all, and so then I wrapped some feathers. The artwork specifically said to have feathers on the boot, so I was like, yeah, I can get away with this maybe. So I wrapped some feathers around it, and I left them a little, they don't lay flat, so I left them a little, I guess, messy looking. I just like them sort of poking off here and there. And then I had more satin ribbon roses. But that's the boots. So the boots are actually done. I can say the boots are done. The boots are done. Except I do have to cut out a little bit of the interior Warbler because it poked me. The boots are done. So that's the overskirt, the boots, the brooch, the wings are done. The cape is cut out and ready to go. I started 3D printing some stars to add around on the corset and on the brooch and her little forehead star. And then I have prepped the ribbon to make more ribbon roses for the hair accessories. But I got a little distracted and started working on my 1880s Aurora. And so I have to start with a foundation garment, so I'm making a new corset. So while I was waiting for a bunch of stuff to arrive, because I ran out of pretty much everything that I needed to move forward with Cosmos, so I started working on Aurora's corset, and that is like 85% done. All the boning channels are in, the busk is in. I just need to bias tape the edges and add the grommets and it's done. But I stopped working on that when the additional trim arrived for Cosmos, so I was able to finish that. Yeah, so that is a lot that I have accomplished this week, and I keep thinking in my head that I can probably finish this over the weekend minus the wig and accessories. So that's what I'm goaling myself as. It's not a lot. It's a lot of little things that I need to happen. Oh, I forgot. I finished the collar. The collar is made of goose feathers. I wanted imitation feathers, but I ordered craft feathers from Amazon and they arrived, and they were absolutely goose feathers. But I didn't want to send them back, so I wound up cutting them down to size, trimming them into shape, spray painted them gold, and attached them to some twill tape that I then added a strip of Warbler in the back to add structure to flip it up so it lays flat and then flips up around the neck. And that is what the cape is going to attach to, and then that's going to snap onto the corset, like right about here. So yeah, I'm going to try really hard to finish this up this weekend, and then I want to start on the wig hopefully next week. I'm still waiting on a couple of pieces to arrive from Arta Wigs, so fingers crossed that happens and we can move on to the wig and be done maybe by the end of next week. So that would be awesome. I still need to do a fit test. I'm waiting until I have this all done to see if there's any additional tweaks that need to happen, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful I won't need to do much to make sure that this is ready to go for the beginning of February. So yeah, so that's all I have for you today. And if this is something you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!